Hello and welcome to today's edition of Top Rated Recruiter Spotlight. My name is Adam Conrad. I'm the founder and CXO of Great Recruiters. We are the review generation, brand promotion, and the biggest cheerleaders for recruiters out there in the marketplace that are doing it right. And today I am happy to be joined by Jordan Tallman. He is the founder and CEO of Wayward Medical. Not only is he the founder and CEO, but he is an active recruiter, and he is one of our top rated recruiters on the platform. And he comes to us with a 4.9 star rating, 94% highly recommended. And people just love working with Jordan. But enough about that. Jordan, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm so excellent. I'm so proud to be here, man. And I love my travelers as well. And it's so nice to have a platform that um, I can tell people that my travelers love me without bragging about it myself, right? Like that's huge.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. So give us a little background on yourself. How'd you get in this industry? I always love asking that question because everybody has a little bit different story, but most of us didn't grow up as little kids thinking, when I grow up, I want to be a healthcare recruiter. So what got you into this awesome industry? And then give us some background on Wayward Medical.
Yeah, I love the story actually. I totally fell into it just like everybody else, right? I used staffing firms to get jobs previously. I was delivering pizzas and I was just having a tough time coming out of college finding I had a business degree, which like what does that even qualify you for, you know? And so I used a staffing firm and I got fired on like 6 days into the job for telling a Donald Trump joke. And it's a whole thing. I think the joke is great. It was a good pun, but anyway, I got let go for that, and the staffing firm was like, "Well, hey, man, we actually really loved your personality. We think you're good at sales." And the manager didn't even want to let you go. It was just one of these, times in the society or whatever. So
Right.
he asked, like, "Hey, man, why don't you come work here?" And I had been asked a few times if I wanted to come work for staffing firms, and I had said no a bunch of times, and I was just tired of delivering pizzas, man. And I asked him, like, well, can you make six figures? Is that possible? And he's like, yeah, I've got a few people doing it. And so I said, all right, let's try it out. I worked out of this guy's garage for a year, basically. And he was the CEO of a $7 million recruiting firm called Zazzle. And so I got to work directly with him, see all the decisions that he made, and run an offshore team. I did a little sales, I did a little recruiting, and so kind of studying and copying off of his paper, that gave me like I was with him for a year. Then I went to Springboard Healthcare, and that's where I got like my travel nursing degree, so to speak, right? And I was at Springboard for a year, and then COVID hit. All of my travelers got canceled during COVID. I put a couple more on because we had some of those big contracts. I saved up a couple of bucks, but then all those travelers got canceled. And so it was kind of my third time at bat building a whole desk over again. And I was looking at like, all right, there's a leaderboard on the wall with like top recruiters, and I was kind of high up there. So I felt like I knew that I was a good recruiter, so to speak. Um, but on the leaderboard, it had two commas on there, and on my paycheck there was only one comma, and so I was like, dude, there's a missing comma here. I could probably do something about this if I'm restarting my desk. Like I could restart for this company, or I could like restart for myself. So I had about 3 months of runway, and I said, screw it, man. Worst case scenario, I just go get another job, right? So I went out on my lunch breaks. Don't tell anybody from Springboard because they might watch this, but I went on my lunch breaks, grabbed a few clients, and it was kind of I had one foot in the door, one foot out, and these new clients were needing travelers, and I was just gonna fail at both things if I tried to do both, right? Like if I
Right.
was recruiting during the day for my job and at night for this new business that I was starting, I was gonna get fired and the business was gonna fail. So it was like pick
Right.
one or the other. So I went in, I burned the boats, so to speak, like Cortez did, and went in all the way with Wayward. We did $1 million our first year. It was literally just me in my room. I had roommates. It was it was the whole thing. But fast forward, we're about 5 years in now. We've got a team of six, and I absolutely love what we're doing.
That's awesome, man. What a great story. I love the entrepreneurial spirit, right? And you see something, you see an opportunity, and like you said, you got two choices. You got to go all in, and you don't. And it's great for you to kind of recognize that. Talk to us a little bit. So, two things. One, since Naz is a client, Michael Paradise and I go way back. So
Oh,
that's
no way.
because I didn't know that.
Small
So
world.
that's great. As you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Michael Paradise. Anyway, shout out to Michael Paradise and his Zazzle team. They're
What's
amazing.
up, Michael?
But talk to us a little bit about Wayward Medical. Who do you guys help? What's your primary focus? Give us a little background on the folks that you help out there in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. So we carved out a real niche for ourselves, and I'm so proud of it, man. There's a really overlooked part of the travel nursing industry, and that's critical access hospitals. They're smaller, they're kind of mom and pop shops. Um, Sorry, my phone's going off there, but um, yeah, so it's critical access hospitals are basically hospitals in the middle of nowhere. So a town of say 800 people, they don't even have a nurse that lives in that town, so we import them from other states
Right.
basically. Where you could go and do travel nursing for a large hospital, they'll send you a check and maybe a thank you. With the small critical access places, they know your name, they appreciate you. I go visit all the time. We're sending Christmas cards back and forth. I just feel like I'm doing a big part to help the community, and it's not only like it's lucrative, but it's also fulfilling, and the team appreciates that too. So it goes a long way for me.
No, it's and how. What's the challenge? What does the conversation sound like when you're talking to travelers out there and you're like, hey, so you haven't heard of this town, you haven't heard of this hospital, but they would love you and they have something. How does that conversation go?
Yeah, so a lot of times it's selling the things to do around town. A lot of our business is in Montana, so talking about some of the camping, the fishing, the hiking, Yellowstone Park. I always say like, don't pet the buffalo, ha ha ha. So we
You
do
end
kind
up
of
like me.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, it's I think the biggest draw for the nurses themselves is if you're in a large hospital, it's a lot more calm, right? So you go from, crazy running around like with the chicken, like your head is cut off, excuse me, to like a 10-bed facility that, you kind of get to kick back and there's no drama. It's so much easier. So that's probably the biggest draw and what people actually like hook onto when I'm going fishing for candidates.
That's great. That's great. And so we've known each other. It's going on what 4 years plus. You've known about Great Recruiters for a long time. You're on the platform now. How has it helped you, kind of as you establish this business and continue to grow this business? How has it helped you personally as a recruiter, and how has it helped you as a business owner?
Yeah, I mean, as a recruiter, we've gotten I've made placements because I've posted this on my social media, right? Somebody gave me a great review, and then without me saying, "Hey, I'm such a great recruiter, here's a review," somebody else said it,
Yeah,
and then somebody will comment on Facebook or LinkedIn, and then a conversation will organically start, right? And so
yeah,
that's been huge, recruiting wise. But what's been even bigger is for the team. So we have. I call it hashtag thanks. I just go in and every time somebody does something cool or good, I try to do some
yeah,
positive reinforcement for the team and say, "Hey, hashtag thanks for this cool thing that you did." And one of the things the team likes the most is when they get reviews, right? So I share their reviews with everyone else, and it gets the juices flowing, the positivity going, and the team loves it, right? So it creates just great culture, I would say, sharing that
yeah.
internally.
That's awesome. And it's great to hear from the boss, right? It's great to hear from the guy at the top that runs it. But when you hear from the people that you're out there trying to help, actively helping, working with, when they share that appreciation and feedback, oh, I mean, it goes such a long way. It's great to hear that you're doing things to help celebrate that because it's like built-in motivation, right? I think one of our other friends in the industry said it's a hit of dopamine, right? It gets me going. It's a tough industry. It's a tough job being a recruiter. And to be appreciated, I think goes a heck of a long way. So I love to hear that you're celebrating that success.
Yeah, as a recruiter, you tend to eat a lot of crap, right? It's like being a waiter and people are just rude to the waiter, like you have to give them service either way. And so swallowing that pride and just being there for
Yeah.
people consistently can really weigh on you. And so when you get these 5-star reviews, it goes such a long way.
Awesome. So talking about that experience to wrap, like what should candidates experience when they're working with you, when they're working with your team at Wayward? What kind of experience can they expect when engaging with your team?
Yeah, I mean, I think our biggest thing that we've been striving for is just listening, right? Is making sure that the candidates feel heard, validated, and then also are getting what they want, right? And so making sure that my recruiters aren't the ones doing the talking. It's kind of an 80-20 thing. Obviously, we have to say, what does Wayward do? Where are the jobs located? All that stuff.
Right.
But making sure that we have their needs, wants, desires written down and that we're actually matching them. And if we can't do that, then pointing them in another direction where they can get those needs done. It's all about just being like going out into the market and being valuable. Whether we make $1 off it or not, we're trying to help people, and that's how you put money in your bank account at the end of the day, is just going out into the market and being useful and helpful.
Awesome. Well, Jordan, I really appreciate you sharing your story. I love hearing it, man. I love seeing where you guys are at. You hit on something that I say every day. Every candidate that decides to call you back, it's a gift. It really is. They chose to call you back, and you can either waste that and just throw it out, have a transactional, or you can build that relationship. And what I love that you said is like, we can't promise to place everybody we talk to, but we can promise to add value in every conversation. And when you strive to add that value, like I hear you saying, it does wonders, right? That you are going to get a return on that investment of your time, a return on the investment of that caring. It might not happen today, but it's going to come back. You start building that loyalty, and other people are talking about you and talking about the great work that you do. So kudos to you for kind of ingraining that into your organization. And hey, if you're out there and you're looking to change the pace a little bit, slow things down, maybe feel a little bit more appreciated, because we know nurses aren't always appreciated as much as like recruiters are. Contact Jordan and his team. They've got great opportunities for you. Check out some national parks. Slow the pace down a little bit. Take a breath and enjoy the work that you're doing. But kudos to you, Jordan, and all that you've accomplished so far. And I just know there's a heck of a lot more on the horizon for you, buddy.
Well, thanks, Adam. I appreciate it, man. Good chatting.
All right. Well, hey, as I always say, you got choices of what you want to do, and go out there and choose to go be great today. Have a great one, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers.